Hello and welcome to Wine with Jimmy here, and welcome to my top drops from the Co-operative in the United Kingdom. So this is where I hand select my top drops, my favorite wines from the co-op, the Co-operative, and I am going to present them to you, including information about the wine. So, grape variety, where it's from, how it's made, how that impacts the wine's style. I'm also going to give you a QR code found on the wine slide at the bottom right hand corner, which you can scan, and that will take you to a perfect food and wine pairing for that specific wine from the cooperative. So, it may be a cooperative dish, or it might be a recipe from them. These wines will work very well with those dishes. Then I'll finish on what I call my professional wine examiner's notes. I will go through the wines in very key detail, including appearance, nose, palate, and conclusions, including all of the aromas and flavors that the wine will have. Now, don't worry, if you are not studying the world of wine, you'll still find these tasting notes, these tasting sheets, quite useful for you to pick up on some key information about the wine, potentially its acidity level, its tannin level, the kind of sugar it has, its intensity, the length of wine, the flavors to expect. But if you are studying the world of wine, you will find these very useful. They are what we call the systematic approach to tasting examiner's notes, which you'll be able to find very useful for your studies at home to prepare yourself for the examination. Let's have a look at this wine here. This is the von Kesselstatt that you will see on your slide. It's a really great wine. This is a Riesling from the Mosel in Germany, and it's the 2023 vintage. You'll see a bottle shot on the left-hand side. So Reichsgraf von Kesselstatt, and it's called the Schloss Marenley. Now, this is only at about £12.75 from the cooperative. Winemaker here is David Nicolay and Dr. Carsten Venand. It's natural fermentation in still, so no oak barrels, coming in at a very manageable 10.5% alcohol. And the one I put here, which is not identified to most consumers, but I think it's very important, RS stands for residual sugar. And this has around 17, nearly 18 grams per litre of residual sugar. So most dry wines will be below sort of 3 or 4. So this gives you an indication that this wine will have some sugar. It's a vegan wine, and it is exclusive to the cooperative. And I've matched this with a very lovely dish. This is a honey and garlic king prawn stir fry. So that QR code in the bottom right hand corner will take you across to the cooperative site, which will therefore give you the recipe that you can rustle up to match quite nicely the little bit of stickiness, the sweetness in the king prawn recipe will suit the little bit of sugar that this wine has very nicely. So where are we looking at in terms of the world? Where does this wine come from? So this is a Germanic wine that comes from what we call the Upper Mosel, which is right in the southeastern part of Germany, bordering the likes of Switzerland. And I've highlighted the areas. It's around an old Roman city called Trier, and we find the fruit from this from around the Saar area, so one of those green areas. Now, Mosel Rieslings, certainly from this area, typically paler in colour, lighter embodied, lower in alcohol with high acidity than other parts of Germany. And the balance of acidity and flavour often is sort of complemented by some sugar. So you'll find the wines typically being somewhere between off-dry to sweet from this area. But do look out for the dry examples as well. And we are going into a fairly sort of mountainous part of Germany here. So you see a picture of Weingut Würzburg in Serig in the Saar area, which is your light green area on the map. And you can see some quite dramatic viticulture here on slopes. Now, this 100% Riesling is just absolutely delightful to enjoy. And you'll see here that I have put this down as quite a classic appearance. So my tasting notes here are broken into appearance, nose, palate, and conclusions, and the marks are clearly identified there if you are studying the world of wine. It's very pale, bit of a lemony colour to it, this wine. Decent intensity, around medium or medium plus. You must put down 1 if you are studying the world of wine. As an examiner, I'm allowed to put ranges. It's a youthful wine, and there are 5 marks available for picking some of the following. You can have quite a lot of floral compounds here. I put honeysuckle, but I think you could also have things like elderflower, jasmine, apple blossom, apple itself, pear, grapiness. I would also accept sort of a grapefruity, limey character, sort of zesty with that little hint of white peach, a bit of fennel, dill, and some wet stones on this expression. It's only primary, this wine. It hasn't developed any tertiary, and it's not made in wood or gone through yeast or mallow, so you don't find any of the secondary characteristics. Now, the nearly 18 grams per litre of sugar here makes this around a medium dry style, but you may sense that you probably put on your tasting notes maybe an off dry because the really high natural acidity here. So potentially I might accept off dry as well. So this is just a bit of sugar. I've gone for medium dry with high acidity, but it is below 11% alcohol, so this is low alcohol on the scale. It's light in body despite their little bit of sugar, medium intensity, and then a nice finish, medium or medium plus. So that is the finish. 3 marks available here for putting down the same primary characteristics. You see that 3 marks and the arrow going here. So any of the same that we had previously. And I think this is a good wine. Certainly for the money, it's fantastic at £11. And I think it has potential for aging because it has some richness, it has sweetness, and it has acidity. So can drink now, but potential for aging.